Okay, hey guys, and welcome to the second episode of the IRL podcast. Here we talk to people who run and own businesses, and we dive deep into what it really takes to make it all work. So no fluff, no sugarcoating, just real, honest conversations. So let's get into it. So today we have my very closest business partner is JJ. My wife is also very close to me, but yeah, so JJ is somewhat of a phenomenon. We are the same age, but somehow he has done so much more in life than me, and he's gone through like so much more age groups than me. I think he's like 50 now.
Mental age.
Mental age 50. Yeah, so we do the LFG pod together and some other businesses, but maybe tell us more about yourself and your story. I think your story is so interesting, right? Like,
Wow.
from the beginning. So, how did it all start? Like after you graduated from poly, how did it start?
Ooh. If I were to say the whole story, I think we'll be here for 3 hours. I think long story short, my dream when I was a teenager was always to be a singer, an artist, a musician.
That's me.
Right? Yeah, like us, same age, I don't know, maybe people our age like to do music. And I think quite early on in my music career, I realized that music at the end of the day is a business, right? If you were to work with brands or work with run concerts or even work with a label, it's really about nothing but this one thing called P&L. Right, and you can be the best singer in the world, you can be the best songwriter or producer in the world, but at the end of the day, when you work with a label or work with a music company or a booking agent or a manager, there's only one question, which is you gotta make money or not, right? You can have the most angelic voice in the world, but if you're not bringing in income, it's not a business. It's
Actually,
a hobby.
do you feel like a lot of artists don't really get understand that, or is actually most people in the music industry kind of like understands that it's a business?
I think not limiting to artists lah. I think most creative people, right? Whether they do crocheting, they do oil painting. I think a lot of us, I think even for us in the beginning, we are really focused on our craft. Let's say the guitar riff better. Let's produce a nicer song. Let's write better hooks. But we realized that, or rather, quite early on, I realized that the best product don't always make the most money, or don't always get the most traction, right? It's really about a lot of things which I love doing now, like brand positioning, go-to-market strategy, and I don't think it's the creative person's fault, right? That is that's what we like to do, ma.
But do you feel how did you get that realization that it's about the P&L? Like, I don't feel like a lot of creative people. I'm being a creative person myself. Like when you're doing the thing, then you realize like not everybody will get to that conclusion actually.
I think that there's a stigma, right? That as long as you are an artist, a creative person, it's very difficult to quote unquote make money, right? So I think quite early on when I first started, apart from trying to improve my craft, one of my, I guess, goals was to prove to people around me who say that, being an artist, being a songwriter cannot make money, to show them that it is possible, right, to make a living. I didn't know if it was possible or not, right? But then there are people out there doing it. I don't know how much money they make, but surely it's possible. I'm gonna try to make it happen. Of course, I was at that time young and naive, I didn't fully understand what it means to do it as a career, right? So along the way, I did do it as a career. I was a quote-unquote full-time singer-songwriter. I perform locally, overseas, I record music, I release music, I make money from people buying, at the time, like when I first started, CD, right? People streaming my music, and eventually I had the very, very good, awesome blessing and privilege to work with Warner Music Singapore for 2 years as a signed artist, which really, really at that point opened up my perspective, because it's like, wow, you can have a huge label backing you, right? But you can still fail right? Because from the business perspective, like I think for most artists, right, we only got one goal: sign to a big label.
Yes.
Yeah, get signed to a big label. Because the impression is big label, more funds, more resources equals to success. But then you realize that, hey shit, okay, so now I'm in, say, Warner Music. I share the same label as Ed Sheeran, right? Yes, got more funds, more resources, but if today me and Ed Sheeran release music on the same day, you think Warner Music is going to activate their staff to promote my song or Ed Sheeran's song? Obviously Ed Sheeran, right? Why? He make more money, ma. It's a business, right? So I think that changed my whole perspective on, oh, you just gotta focus on making the best song or sing the best, which is not true. In business context, best product don't always mean most customers, right? So along the way, I realized that, wow, actually, people who can sing, people who can write, people who can produce, people who can dance everywhere. You throw one stone, guy can sing, right? You throw one stone, guy can dance, you know? So, and I realized that, wow, actually, the gap in the music industry, the creative industry, it's not that people cannot sing, people cannot dance, people not talented enough. It's that people don't really understand how to position their music as a proper brand to attract customers. In music, we call them fans. Right? And how to work with partners, whether they're labels or distributors or publishers, to like build that ecosystem. So then my interest became very, very much into building brand and building business in the music industry rather than being an artist. Because actually can sing, everybody can sing. Literally, like maybe you can sing, I mean that person, the person can, everybody can sing, right? And can sing pretty freaking well at that. So then somewhere along the way, I got into doing more back-end stuff, doing more music production and trying to figure out how to add value in this industry. So I realized that there's a huge gap in the music industry. Everybody wants to be a singer, everybody wants to be an artist, everybody wants to be an actor. Nobody wants to market the music. Alright, very little people want to market the music. Very little people want to help to brand the music, help to sell the concerts, right? Because it's not a glamorous job.
It's like corporate lah, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, and along the way, I also realized that making your passion your full-time job can be a double-edged sword.
Why would you say that? Because I mean, like the previous episode, Rich said that passion is very important to like to even want to do like a business or whatever.
I think passion is where it starts.
Okay.
Purpose is where it continues.
Oh,
it caught me. But I truly believe that. Yeah, because passion helps you ignite the spark. Agree, right? But when you have passion, it doesn't mean that you won't hit snags on the road, you won't hit walls, right? And as a business owner now, you know that shit does not just happen because you want it to happen, right? It doesn't mean that I'm passionate about, this means it will happen for me, right? This does not work that way. So I think, yes, passion is important, but purpose is where, I think purpose is the driving force that helps you to persevere. So what I say, I think making passion your main business is a double-edged sword, because along the way, like I always thought music was my passion, right? So I started doing production and I was doing on like making corporate jingles, writing songs for other artists, and some of these corporate people, they come back with a creative direction that is completely against yours. And in order to put food on the table, to make that couple of $1,000 so that you can pay for the things that you want to pay for, you need to
give up your creative autonomy lah.
Correct. In that sense, it's like you think it should be a certain way, but customer is king ma. You want to eat or not, right? So if you want to eat, like for me, I was quite lucky. I started when I was still living with my parents. I don't have to pay rent, I don't have to pay mortgage, I don't have to pay car. But like as an adult, you need to eat what? You need to put food on the table, right? So I think there are quite a lot of creatives, myself included. After a while, it just becomes a job. Right? You go into the studio, you go into you open your laptop and you just are trying to get shit done so that you get paid. And at least from my perspective, after a while I decided, you know what, I think I'm gonna separate my passion into doing it just for my passion. So I don't need, because if I need my passion to feed me, then actually I got no more passion, right? So along the way in my early 20s, I decided that I think this is the direction that I want to go towards. Passion for me is music, is still music and like stuff that I do for fun. Don't need to pay me. The thing that pay me is what I do well. Which along the way I figured out is somewhere along the lines of marketing and branding and business direction type things.
But would you not call that like passion for you?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe it's, instead of saying it's passion, maybe it's like hobbies and or more hobbies, but like or like all our passion, just different passion.
Actually, for marketing, branding, and business related things, I wouldn't actually call it a passion because if there was no money, $0 to be paid, to be made, I won't do it.
Okay.
So I wouldn't call it, but like for music, even if I have to
Yeah.
pay money to do it,
Yeah.
I will still do it. That's passion,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But like marketing, business, branding, these are the things that I think I do decently well, and I think I can help a lot of people make money and help me make money so that we can live the life that we want to live. I think that's purpose. Yeah, so purpose make you money to become sustainable. Passion keeps you happy so that you are sustainable. To me, I separate out like that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and along the way, not every day you get to meet a fantastic business partner who shares similar values. Sometimes you are forced to work with people who might not share the same values, right? But then you have stuff to feed. Yeah, I just hired that intern. How are you gonna fire everybody? No, but so you gotta. So that's purpose, right? Keeps you going. So along the way, I think that's my path law. So purpose is the thing that generates revenue for you to live your desired life. Passion feeds you in your emotional, spiritual, thing. So I think there are some people out there who are creatives, whether you are a painter or you're an artist or songwriter, they really can make their passion their income thing one, which means that they love, say like as a producer, they love production so much, right? That this brand asks you to make 54 revisions, right? You still happily make it one because it's no longer about their creative. Like just freaking love doing that thing. Right? They freaking love sitting in a studio producing music, no matter what genre, whether it's hip hop, metal, R&B, or jingle. They just love music.
Yeah.
I respect them.
Okay.
Right, and I think that's not me.
I see.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
To
To
so
like
hard.
separate the
Correct.
Do you feel like it's because like you had to separate the creative autonomy when you are working for clients? That's why this is a problem, not problem lah. Like it's something that you feel like I rather protect my creative autonomy
Yep.
and do something else to earn money, for example.
Yeah, I think quite in the first few years of doing this, I realized that this is the truth lah, that a lot of creative people can be very complainy. It's like I want to make this kind of music, but how come nobody pay me for it? Bro, because there's no market ma, right? I mean, that's where the business side of you comes in. It's like you gotta do market research. What's your market size? What's your ROI? And for creative people generally don't think about that, right? I used to be one of them. How come nobody listen? You gotta do market research, right? Yeah. So I used to be one of them, and I'm sure we all were at some point. Then after a while, it's just like you cannot really blame the creative. But then I think as a creative person, whether you're a musician or artist, there's two paths lah. You complain that there's no market, and then you whine that nobody listens to your production, your music, or you go and find the market, right? Find your niche, find your market, and create a business, right? And the product is you, the music.
Yeah. Do you feel like it is? I mean, from what you're saying, it for any creative person, it's a bit like I mean, the goal is like you make what you love, and then from what the thing that you make you love suddenly it like really happen to have market.
Yeah.
But that's not the case for most people, right?
Correct.
Then most people make what they love, and then there's no market, and then whether the question comes is whether are they able to tweak that creative part of them to fit the market or like a market. You feel like it's that tension, and whether if you're not willing to make that sacrifice, then sorry, this is not for you.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of that, but I do believe that no matter what your craft is, there is a market. It's just whether the market big or the market small.
Yeah.
So if let's say you make some very obscure type of creative product, you probably will realize at some point that your market is very small.
Yeah.
So you got two paths, right? You accept your market is small, but you continue to pursue it and you become the biggest fish in that market. Which is possible.
Yeah. But sometimes being the biggest fish also cannot earn money.
Yeah, exactly. So you make the call, right? Or you do that. Right, you do something else that you are good at, right?
Yeah.
Like I think there are a lot of people in the music industry who do that, right? I think Armin van Buuren, which is a trance artist, he's a lawyer, man. He's a freaking lawyer. I think he's a lawyer. One of those things that very professional career. He's a lawyer. He made trance music for the longest time that nobody listened to until the market existed. Last time got no market, right? But he kept doing it as a passion, and the law thing feeds him so that he can continue doing the passion. Then he do the passion until one day, right, there is a market for it. Oh, then okay, I do. So I think a bit of that I quite like that idea, right? That once you accept that there's no market, you got two options, right? You do something that fits you so that you can fund your passion, and you accept that that is your life, or you try to pivot and do something within what you still enjoy and what your passion still lies in that has a little bit more of a market. But I think that is also where it gets complicated because most creative people are not business people. And I would, it's been, like 10 plus years of doing business, I would actually consider myself more of a business and marketing person than I am a creative person. Just that it's very fun because now you get to implement your creative ideas into business and marketing. So it's no longer creating music. There's still value in creating stuff like music. But when you build a business that's profitable, that's sustainable, you help so many people other than yourself, right? Other than to heal your soul. Like you hire staff, you pay them well, you have partners, we bring each other up together, you have clients, some clients are not happy, but some clients are happy, then we uplift each other.
I had a friend, like previously I also thought like, I was a creative and then now I'm not a creative anymore. Then one of my friends who was like photographer, he's quite a known photographer, and he's very creative. So he told me like, I told him like I'm not creative anymore. Then he said, no, you are creating different things. You are creating business. Business is like creative.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
And from then on I was like, wow, like I changed my perspective and I was like, hey, actually I'm really just creating things but in a different way, like in a different medium, right? And being business itself is like your canvas. It's like something and there's like some purpose and function to it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, except that it's bigger than you now. Right? You make a song, yes, your girlfriend broke up with you, you wrote a song, la di da, fantastic. Some other people cry along to the song with you, but when you are a business, you really can impact lives, right? And even in music, if you like look at artists like Billie Eilish, right? If she did not build her business together with her team, people would not have been able to get access to her music, to cry to it, to heal with it. It's business amazing.
I mean, business is almost like an all-encompassing thing, right? Then actually, like you mean from the time that you decided not to do music and then until now, it's like about 10 plus years, right? Around there. Then what do you do in the middle? Like how like what are all the random things? This guy like starts so many business. But,
I think there are two schools of thought. Like some people think that you start so many things, you don't focus, you cannot focus. But for me I just can't sit my ass still. So I like to create, right? So instead of creating songs, I create businesses. So in my journey, I've started all sorts of random businesses. I started a jamming studio, which obviously closed down. I started a sunglasses business, which I eventually sold. I still have some of the stock in my parents' house. I used to sell it. Most of my sales came from consignment, actually. At that time, e-commerce was still like just starting out. But a lot of my sales came from consignment. So I was in some departmental stores. I was in, at that time, like there's a lot of all these like recreational stores, like Nice, Mega Fair. Now, because retail is a bit tough. So I had like I have like
block shop-ish.
Like in Suntec City, Thomson Plaza. So my sunglasses were like sitting alongside some iron-on patches or like that kind of thing, like that kind of stores. So we did quite well, but then I decided that product business not easy to do. Cause yes, can make a bit of money here and there, but I want the delivery, stock taking, all this very manpower heavy. And like if the out of maybe 100 sunglasses, confirm got one defect. Then you're gonna satisfy pacify the customer. Oh, sorry, I give you two. It's so I decided yes, I had experience what it's like to do a product business, go and customize the sunglasses, design them and get a factory in China to produce them, ship over. And I decided that this is not what I want to do. Sold the business away. I started a resume writing business because I thought that so I teach a module called personal branding in one of the polys last time, and one of the lessons was to write resumes. And I realized that wow, actually a lot of adults also don't know how to write proper resumes.
Yes.
Yeah, because in HR they have this system known as the ATS system, which basically is a system that helps filter resumes before it even reach the HR professional desk. So a lot of people, their formatting and the way that they write the resumes don't include certain keywords. Naturally, they get filtered out.
Yeah.
And they might be really, really good. So I started the business to solve the problem of helping people get interviews. Yeah. So once you get into the interview room, my job is done. But it's to help you get the interview so that you can prove yourself. Yeah, so I started resume writing business. In the end, and somewhere along the lines, I also started writing. I started a bio writing business. So I create and design bios for companies, for startup founders on LinkedIn, on PDF. And then ChatGPT disrupted my whole thing, because now you can ask ChatGPT to make resume, make bio for you, and it's pretty freaking damn good, man. So within a couple of months, these two businesses got disrupted. So from good revenue to $0. Because I think no point. And in good conscience, I feel like, at least for us, we always try to do business that really add value. So you go and use the free version of ChatGPT, generate you a pretty awesome resume already, then you pay me for what? I got no value anymore. So I'll just tell people, you go and use ChatGPT. My business got no more value. Yeah, so along the way, I also started a lot of random businesses, like a marketing agency, which I started with two of my friends. And I think doing all these things, marketing agencies were doing pretty well. Doing all these things, at the time we were doing full suite. So SEO, SEM, social media, management, that kind of thing like some staffing. But doing so many things, I think really kills the physical health. So at some point, my health took a turn for the worse. I decided to exit my companies and just do nothing for a while to recover, in and out of the hospital. And eventually I was diagnosed with this condition called fibromyalgia, which is an autoimmune condition that is unfortunately incurable, but I'm managing it very well. You can go and Google fibromyalgia, CNA. CNA did a whole article interviewing a bunch of us. Yeah, so I think more on that. So somewhere when I was 24, 25, I realized that actually building things and success in what the humans define it, making money, buying house, it's not everything. Because once you don't have your health, it's nothing. So right now, I try to only go into businesses that I feel like I really can add value and serve a purpose, but to do it sustainably.
So what do you do now?
That is a fantastic question. So I run the LFG Content Co. with you and two other partners. It's a podcast and content studio. We recently launched the LFG Pod, first fully automated content and podcast studio, only at $39 a session, which we are doing this podcast in. I still run a marketing consultancy called, in fact, it's a personal branding and marketing consultancy called Nimble Co. We used to be called Foreman Digital, but I rebranded it to Nimble Co. And now I specifically only work with solopreneurs and startups.
Why don't you work with non-solopreneur startups?
Because I think after so many years as a startup founder, as a solopreneur, as a freelancer, I just really have a soft spot and maybe passion for helping these people. Because in the beginning it was really hard for me. Right, I didn't really get the help I needed, and even if I wanted, some help, it came at a cost, $10,000 consultation fee a month, like $5,000. So I couldn't really, do that. So I just wanted to start something that, people who were running solo businesses, right, to help them scale and bring my experience, my failures into the mix to help them with their the personal branding and marketing aspects of things. Because I think there are many people like yourself and many other people who are really, really good at what they do. But sometimes they just don't know how to express that to their audience. And that is basically my job.
But I'm sure big companies also, or even government agencies sometimes need these kind of things, right?
So the truth is I don't like to work with big organizations because decision making process is too clunky, too slow. And I think that is also one of the reasons why I stopped working in an agency. I stopped my marketing agency because I realized that 90% of the time, I'm doing client education. I'm explaining to you why this strategy would work, rather than executing my strategy, which means that the strategy could have been even more effective if you allow me to execute it, right? But then when you work with bigger organizations, global MNCs and brands, they need to go through like 5 layers of approval, 22 revisions before you launch the thing. But in our fast-paced, moving, tech-powered economy, you can't afford a 1 month lead time. So
Actually, I was thinking. I was talking to Rich yesterday. Is it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday also about like how big companies work. Then and like what you say is true lah. Sometimes they have to go through like so many layers, right? Of approvals. Especially for Rich, she does like her influencer stuff and briefs and all, right? So So then I was thinking like, wow, if AI is like changing things so fast, right? Wouldn't it then, like the traditional big MNC style of like governing a company or like management become like obsolete? Like for example, usually they have like a yearly budget, right? And then after that they come out with the budget, but at that point maybe ChatGPT was like ChatGPT 3, right? And you can't really do much, right? Then now like 6 months later 4.0 came out and then everything is like different already. Like do you feel like that the whole MNC or like big company structure, the way that they run things might probably need to change?
I honestly don't know, but exactly as what you rightly described, that is the basis of why I named my company Nimble. Because I think that is the secret to any business success in our age, is to remain nimble. Yes, we have a 5-year plan, but you must be ready to change that 5-year plan anytime. Stay nimble, right? So that you can adapt to the market. You can adapt to all these technology, AI, machine learning changes, and bear in mind that now that we are so ultra connected, the guy living in Indonesia is willing to do the exact same thing as you for 5 times cheaper because he can afford for it to be 5 times cheaper. So then you really have to redefine your value. And in order to do that, we have to be nimble. We cannot keep getting stuck on, but I do this well. Yes, you used to do this well, but because of technology, now you become slightly obsolete lah. So we have to remain nimble, right? Even like for LFG Pod, we could be disrupted tomorrow. For all we know.
True.
So we have to remain nimble. We cannot continue to sell we are the first podcast studio that do fully automated $39. I mean, we could be disrupted. Then we gotta change. We gotta make sure that we stay nimble. So that's why I like to work with solopreneurs, because it's much easier, not say easier lah, it's a lot more effective to have a conversation and be like, hey, this is the direction that I think we should move towards. Yes or no? No? Fantastic. You look for someone else that you can work together with that shares the same values. But if you align with me, I will fight with you till the end.
But not everybody, I mean, have that mindset like you, right? That to like just say like, if you don't agree, then sorry, I don't do your business, right? Like why would you have that mindset? Like usually people is like, you don't agree with me, but never mind, I'll follow what you do cause I can earn your money, right? No.
I think in my early 20s, I already experienced that. Like I thought like I need to build up my retirement funds, I need to save up for my house, I need to pay my staff. So I took on a lot of jobs that I didn't fully agree with, because in the name of survival, right? But then now it's very different for me lah, because survival is not just making money. Survival is being excited about the things that we do. To me, that is the fundamental of survival. Because you can make all the money, but you're depressed as shit. I think if I wanted to make a lot of money and I wanted to be depressed as shit, I would go into a career that can make me a lot of money and I was depressed as shit. Then I'll retire at 40 and I'll call it a day. But that is not what I want to do lah. I want to get there sustainably. Right? If not, I will stay in real estate. I will become a banker or become one of those things where like many people are not too happy with their jobs, but they're paid like really freaking quite well lah. So.
But do you feel like having some of these employed people are I mean earning enough? Do you think that like earning that amount of money, is it worth it for that unhappiness?
I think for some people it is.
Okay.
Yeah, but for me, I used to think that maybe, but now my answer is definitely no, because I think if you have experienced like like kind of near death experiences, like you're lying in the hospital bed not knowing whether you'll wake up the next day, your perspective of life kind of changed. Money is nothing but a means to live, right? One of the means to live. In fact, you can just strip naked, go to the jungle and feed off mushrooms and stuff, and then if that's your thing, you can, but I think like my purpose here right now is to truly enjoy the life that I was given, and not just enjoy it, but also to help the people around me with my own failures and my own successes, to really build people up together with me, and to live one day at a time.
What a plug.
Yeah, which is very difficult for me, by the way, because I'm a planner. I like to strategize. Yeah. So to live one day at a time is very difficult. It's very intentional. It needs to be very intentional, because I am by nature a planner. I have 5-year plan, 10-year plans. I have plans.
So what's your 5-year plan?
No more. Like, okay, so
Really?
like my only plan is I want to retire at 35. I want to semi-retire at 35.
Okay.
And I think I can get there with the help of my fantastic business partners. I think I can get there.
But why I mean, we always have this conversation. Like, why would you want to retire at 35? There's so much more ahead.
Okay, so to me, retirement is just retirement merely means that I have saved up enough of a pot of assets that can continue to feed me until I die, that I can do whatever I want. So it's not like I'll stop working, stop doing business.
Assets, you mean like stocks?
Stocks,
and,
property,
right.
crypto.
Yeah.
So of course now I'm a lot more in growth, growing my assets, right? But at some point when I'm ready to semi-retire, I will divest into a lot more cash.
Like long term, a bit more safer type
Like
stuff.
real estate, REITs, bonds, that type of things. Then I'll just I'll still buy funds and stuff, but I just let it go lor.
But actually, are you not worried? I mean, like Ray Dalio, he just released his book like yesterday about like the debt crisis and how countries go broke, right? Man, I mean, a lot of these things are like invested. I mean, most people invest in like S&P, in like US stuff, right? Oh, are you not worried that like you think like this is the sum of money that I want to invest, I want to have so that I can retire at 35 and go and do whatever I want to do, right? Are you not worried that at that point like the changing world order would probably have like set in, and then whatever you have is probably not what it probably would take to retire?
Yes, worried. That's why I think this is also my interest lah. That's why I think it's like for the longest time your investment gurus tell you to just invest in S&P. I don't think that will work anymore, because I also I'm a very very big believer in Ray Dalio's changing world order concept, and especially now with very politically unstable environment and technology, you really have no idea what's going to happen, right? So I think having a well calculated and diversified portfolio is what is sensible to do. So I used to be very heavy in the US, but no longer am I. I am quite heavy in like the MSCI World Index, which basically buys, what I always tell, at least from my perspective, MSCI basically buys a little bit of the world, the top companies in the world.
Yeah.
So if all the top companies in the world die, then apocalypse, we all die, then no need care already, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm quite heavy in MSCI World Index. I also am quite a big believer in decentralized things. So of course crypto, and I think I'm also looking into real estate, and this is why I'm a licensed real estate professional. Partly is so that I can have enough data to make a good decision, right? Whether it's buying real estate locally or overseas properties lah. So I think when your pot is big enough and you are divested in different assets that act as hedges for each other, then there's a shot. If not, then no chance. If your whole portfolio is in Bitcoin or in S&P 500, I think
shit, I need to
I don't know. This is my opinion though. I'm not an investment guru. You can look for SG Budget Babe or Honey Money or Calvin Loves Investing or Satisfy. Like they are the investment finance people lah. But I learn what I learned from these people, and like people, different opinions from people like Dave Ramsey, from Ray Dalio, from all your to me more successful people. That I formed this is my conclusion. Yeah.
Then do you feel that at that point when you get your retirement and all, what will you be doing?
I think right now my new dream
Wow.
my dream is to actually I don't know leh. I think I think this is the direction lah. Maybe it's not like the goal, but the direction is this, and I'm still trying to figure out, which is to enjoy life for a while, but also to not saying that not that I'm not enjoying life now, but I still have to do some things I don't like, right? Because you got people to pay, gotta feed yourself, and then save up for retirement. But I think when I retire, what I really really want to do is to start a fund or whatever like a fund or like a, I wouldn't really call it like a VC firm because I don't know, like a
angel.
super ultra angel investing thing to invest in companies that people don't want to invest in. Yeah, so maybe you are really passionate in planting sunflowers, but Singapore is not a very good climate for sunflower planting, but then you develop this 3D printed system in your house to plant sunflowers. Usually VC firms will not invest in that. Because growing more sunflowers
doesn't
not
help
make more money. Not really. Right. But hey, if you're really passionate about it, I want to support that. I want you to grow your sunflowers. If your grandmother at 76 years old wants to build a brownie store, build a brownie store, right? If you're really passionate about making the best brownies in the world, I want to fund that. I want to support that. Because as someone who has started so many failed businesses, I think if I had that bit of mentorship, that bit of funding, it could have been a bit different. So I want to be, I cannot afford to do that now, but I want to be that person for these people who, I don't know, I just want to grow mealworms so that I can make fertilized soil for, like home-based plant growing. That is a business I want to support because it is built based on passion. But it can grow to have a strong purpose.
Do you have like a mentor back then?
I think I've had many.
Because not everybody knows, like, have the intuition to do business like you.
I think I've had a couple of mentors over the years. People who teach me certain things that I might not agree with now. But I think I don't know what your view of mentors is, and I think now that we are talking about it, I think my view of mentors now is they are merely somebody with a bit more experience than you that help you provide a second perspective. And I think the danger in having mentors and overly, like respecting them is you tend to end up copying them, trying to recreate their journey, which I think is impossible, especially with the fast-moving world that we live in now. What used to work for your mentor, their ideologies might not make sense today. So mentors exist because in order to project the future, we need to learn from the past. And I think a good mentor knows that. I've had some really, really awesome people who share with me their opinions and their perspective over the years. And they were a fantastic mentor in that season. But at some point, we move on and our values might be different, our ideologies might be different, and I'll always be appreciative of the people who are willing to give their time to me, to share, to help me grow. But I think as much as we outgrow mentors outgrow us. So I think there's no like forever mentor. Right? You pick up what you pick up, you appreciate their time, you give back to them.
Not like a Jedi like that, right?
We grow together lah.
Like a Master Yoda that you will like forever learn. But there's like seasons of like okay, this time when I'm learning this thing, suddenly someone come in and I learn. And then, okay, the next season is someone else.
Yeah, which is why, actually, talking about this, which is why I think mentorship is a two-way street. Right? It does not mean that I cannot add value back to my mentor, which is what I love. So, recently we are talking about expanding to China. We have been doing more networking and talking to a lot of successful business people in China. And I realized one thing. A lot of all these people that manage to expand overseas, which is a much bigger market, I think they innately understand this concept, right? I've had a guy, 60 plus years old, much, much more successful than me, saw me using like Notion to organize my projects. He drove all the way to my house, spent 3 hours with me for me to teach him how to use Notion, and he bought me some chocolates and some wine after that. It's like for such a immensely successful multi-millionaire to be so humble, to go to a 30-year-old young business owner's house to like learn how to use Notion, how humble must you be? But I think that's also the secret to their ever growing, you know,
like the growth
businesses.
mindset lah, right?
Yeah, and many people, like if I'm 60 years old, I don't know if I'll do that, no? Like, you know, like, hey, bro, can you teach me? It's like, I mean,
Who are you?
yeah, right, who are you? Right, so that's why I want to hang out with these people, I want to learn from them, I want to be like them.
Yeah.
Because if we stop learning,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's the end.
So do you feel like this growth mindset is like the most important thing in terms of like for people who want to do business or like to be successful in life?
Double-edged sword.
Okay.
Yeah, when you focus too much on growth, it's very easy to burn out.
I see.
Growth does not come easy, obviously. Like, growth comes from failures most of the time, right?
Yeah.
So I think for me is I think growth mindset is important, but I think it's also important to understand what contentment means to you, right? And make sure to have I guess a buddy, you know. I don't know. I'm very lucky. I'm very blessed to have buddies, you know, like you, like my wife, like my sister, and some of my other close friends, you know, who we kind of check in on each other, right? Like take stock, you know, like, hey, are you overdoing this thing? Yes, you know, like, yes, it can be very good, but are you overdoing it? You know, and I think that's very good. Like a buddy system lah of sorts to check, like, you say that your life's purpose is this and this thing keeps you happy, then why you try so hard? Why you keep working until 3 a.m? You know, like, don't make sense. Yeah, so,
True.
so it's like a mirror lah.
Yeah.
You know,
Correct.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we just want to live a fruitful life. Whether you got money, no money, successful, not successful, these are all, I think, very peripheral. They are things that's defined by worldly things, and the world is temporary.
Yeah. Is there someone you feel in the world or like in the past in terms of like history that you kind of look up to and you like hope to kind of like model yourself out? Or like who is your greatest influence basically?
Well, I don't have a single greatest influence. I draw influence from a lot of people, and some people who I respect a great deal and influence me a great deal in a certain season, now I no longer align with them, and that's okay, right? Because people come and go, mentors come and go, and the thing that remains is the love, respect, and appreciation for them. I think that is what's important, but I think it's very dangerous to grasp on to a idol, like an idol of sorts, and be like, oh, I gotta be like this person. So no, I think my goal, which is honestly very hard to do, is really just to live day by day, and just every single day I wake up, I try to live it to the fullest. Sometimes I lose track of that, because in the heat of things, in the, you know, like, there's freaking 1,000 emails and like people WhatsApp messages, people asking for stuff.
Yeah.
Think it's really just a constant reminder of like really just living in the moment now. Tomorrow might never.
Yeah. And then how do you kind of like catch yourself back into that moment thing? Because it's not easy, right? I mean,
Yeah, agreed. Very hard. I have 3 things that help me. Number one is the people around me that I love and who love me. I think they love me. Yeah, like my parents, my family, my sister, my wife, my closest business partners and friends. I think it's like a mirror lah. You know, like I think why I'm close to these people is because I don't need to be afraid that they put on a filter with me. I mean, you can tell somebody that they suck in a nice way, right? You know, know, so that's one. Number 2 is I have a therapist. Every month I go to therapy, right? At the psychotherapy clinic. His name is Simon. So I see that 15-minute session every month as a way to completely shut out the outside world and process my feelings, my emotions, because I am a very emotionally driven person. So I like humans.
creative.
And I like feelings, and sometimes feelings can hurt, you know, and I think when you do not understand these feelings, the hurt is then projected onto some of your clients, your friends, right? So I think it gives me time to process what really happened that month and to really just get back into a good frame of mind. So that is like processing what's happened. And then I also work with a coach. You know, I don't know whether to call him a business coach, life coach, or like a coach lah, right? Gerald, who runs Wild and Wise. So I see him from time to time, who helps me gather my thoughts to plan for the future. Yeah, so I think these three things is more than sufficient enough anchors for me to catch myself. Yeah, when I am naughty and I don't live one day at a time. Yeah, because the muscle memory of like hustling is in you lah. It's very hard to.
I can't say for everyone but it is in you
Yeah, it's in me lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but it's bad. It's a double-edged sword.
I think everything is double-edged sword. Too much of anything is a double-edged sword lah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's a balance.
Yeah.
And this is my way of trying to balance with external help. Because I cannot. This is my internal self is always like go. But then you burn out, then you depressed and whatever.
Yeah.
So like you need anchors.
Have you? I mean, do you ever like try all the I don't know I'm not saying new age, but like all the meditation and I don't know just those kind of things. Has it helped for you?
No leh. Like I mean I have tried meditation, yoga, qigong, you know those like calming things lah. Even like floating. Yeah, in fact you're the one that introduced me to floating. I mean it's nice.
Yeah.
But I feel like those are temporary fixes.
I see.
After you finish your qigong yoga, you finish your meditation, the thoughts immediately flow back. Like don't really help. I think what really helps me is to really process the thoughts, not let the thoughts like fester.
Yeah.
But to process that, understand, move on.
I see. Yeah, it's very they call it the cognitive behavior therapy type of things lah. It's like really using the mind to process the thing and solve it and then move on, kind of thing. Yeah, probably works for you.
Yeah, I think it's also the character.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stop myself from thinking anyways. Might as well try to think about it the right way.
Right way lah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's it for our second episode. You can find JJ on Instagram, on Spotify. I am Falling Feathers, right? And also our LFG pod. You can come and try to use it. It's only for what?
$39 per session.
Yes, and if you like this episode, please like and subscribe. And also next week we have an interesting guest. We'll see you next week.
Nice.